If I hadn't, I guess it wouldn't have started without me. Now, my entire walk. Now, this is interesting because, see, normally when I have to walk here, I don't really think about you two people. Ever. Now, today was an exception because all I thought about was Letitia. And it's not like Letitia likes to be thought about. I mean, doxing her own child, attempting to get her own child's information stolen, even giving out the school location of the child in private information. She literally wants someone to harm her child, in my opinion. I mean, talk about a woman that has lost the plot. Now, I did trade a couple comments with Cruiser McHenry today because I wanted to ask him a question. And it was nice of him. He gave me a good answer. Hello, Steve. Because, see, for those that don't know it, Cruiser McHenry is another YouTube creator. And he also is schizophrenic. And he takes his medication. And to me, it looks like Letitia has a laundry list of dysfunctions. But, I'm not any expert on schizophrenia. So, when I need to know about schizophrenia, I turn to the schizophreniacs. And he said he hadn't seen much of her, but in his opinion, she did line up. So, where our last live, we laid down certain hard facts on the table. Now we're going to have to lay on that proverbial table yet another fact. The fact is she may just be a spoiled Catholic girl and everything is made up. Her brother today tried to contact her and she wouldn't have anything to do with him. That doesn't sound like an abusive family, does it? They no doubt heard and they no doubt had concerns. But over time, I'm sure they know exactly what kind of a problem Letitia is. So, apparently he backed off. And then, other than one person in her family, she went and doxed their names, addresses, and every bit of private information, including her own child, including information that could get her child harmed. Now, fortunately for us, what Letitia doesn't understand is by her turning the comments off and doing what she doesn't get any promotion at all. So the only people that find her are people that are shown her. Hello, redhead girl. And I normally don't let YouTube stuff affect me in life. And what Letitia did doesn't harm me, but it did affect me. I've been doxxed, whatever. Show up here, blah blah. We won't even say what would happen to someone that decided to be an ass to get involved in my life. And there are those that try. I have one creator right now who's a bipolar moron that claims my cannibals are being abused and they're not. She has a much larger channel and she literally tries to bring a hate mob here because she personally hates me. And once again, this is a type of a person that is not as bad as a Letitia, but it's another flavor of the same thing. An entitled woman who is a monster, who has been enabled all of her life. You hear Letitia, she's entitled. Well, I don't have any running water here. I collect rainwater. Well, the temperature it's got, I can't use the rainwater anymore, so I marched my ass 7 miles total and brought back 4 gallons of water in a backpack. 3.5 there, 3.5 back. And I ain't been back long, and in reality, I'm tired. I mean, if I want to actually, let my guard down for a moment, I feel like, that's how I feel. But, I'm here doing what I promised. I said we would have a live around dark. It's around dark, and here we are, and I'm going to give it my best effort. And after an hour or so, after I'm done, I can go, and, sit back. And all I ever get on YouTube is tips. And that's all I ever have and all I ever asked. And we won't bother with anything like that. I'm just saying that. But Leticia thinks she's owed something. Now, if Leticia came on and, gave us content and said, can you give me $5 or $10, here or there to keep me going, to keep food in my belly? That would be money earned. But Leticia is not about earning. Leticia is about people giving to Leticia. And I have a receipt over here that, I need to grab to illustrate my point. But that woman literally makes me sick. And the funny thing is, that's what she wants. That little girl ego state of hers. Oh, and I'm trying to think, what did I do with it? Like I said, I am rather tarred. Okay, I think it's outside of YouTube, and I think I have it in my private receipts. Nope, that one, that one. Nope, not that one. Ah, yes, here it is. It was a little further back in my receipts than I thought. Well, one of my subscribers, Rachel, had a question. She said, if you're ever in Colorado, Open Door Fellowship has help for pregnant women in Denver. Andy Cannon is the pastor. Also, Native Grill has all vegan food. Tokyo Joe's is the best good price vegan food. Also, Trader Joe's has Sprouts for food stores. Also, getting a cooler and helping buy ice to keep cold items from going bad. Now, that was from one of my subscribers that gave her friendly advice. For, people that are new here, one of my lolcows broke down near me, had an accident, and I even offered him help. He refused because he hates me the most, but I even offered him help. And I hate him. Just saying. But, now, Kiwi Girl, answered my friend. And Kiwi Girl is correct. Unless they're going to provide her with a gorgeous house and a millionaire willing to buy her absolutely everything she wants, she's not going to be bothered with anything like that. Wake up. And Leticia hearted it. So, I screenshotted that interaction. I'll probably put it on my community post later. I didn't want to telegraph it. That's why I didn't do it before the live. But yeah, that's in Leticia hearted that comment. Because that's what Leticia wants. Now, as I mentioned, I believe at this point, Leticia's lying about everything except killing puppies. I believe she did that. I believe she's done every cruel thing that she will admit to. But I think she's the one that goes around doing the cruel things, not having the cruel things done to her. Now, at some point, she has probably had some abuse. Now, I also have yet another theory. But, I'm not a professional enough to say am I right or not. But where she has these distinct ego states, the core is a slut. No going around that. Now, the one that's the asshole that explains everything and you're the one that's wrong, not me, blah, 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 blah. Then she has the other one that's the little kill gosh. That one. The one with a smart little mouth that talks like this, like she's an 8-year old, or did way too many drugs. So I'm beginning to think that those two different ego states, they don't accept her sex. So then, of course, it had to be rape. Now, once again, her logic of he didn't call her back, so it had to be assault. I don't know many people that would take 2 rides on that. Just saying. But no, if she's not handed the sun, the moon, and the stars, she's not interested. And that's what this is all about. She's trying to get the brass ring. We'll know in a few months exactly what the truth was about her pregnancy, if there's a baby or not in 3 months, or if there's a baby at all, or does she come up with some horrible miscarriage story, and she's still this last week talking about she wants a man. She reminds me of that. I'm trying to remember the Looney Tunes character. It was in the Foghorn Leghorn. There was always the female, rooster or chicken that always wanted her a man. And that's starting to come off like what she's doing. Hello, Pink. Now, today, all of a sudden, she's feigning gratitude. And that's another one of my tells that everything here for her is a grift. And it's a good one because you see, ego states typically enable the core. And I have 6 ego states. So I have 5 that help my damaged core ego state. She has 2. The little psychotic manipulator and the smarmy little child. And the one that has the hots for Ace and Alice, we'll call him, which is the core, which is a slut. I mean, there ain't no going around that. Now, once again, these other 2 to enable the core. Now you've got the one that is what she would call the intellectual, because of course you're supposed to give her everything. You see, that one's job is to manipulate people into getting what she wants. And the other one is to enjoy getting what she wants, the little girl. Well, Pink, it's not about that. That's why this is a grift. She is severely schizophrenic, but I don't think she has any other dysfunctions. When I started this, I went through my knowledge and it's like, what doesn't she have? But after talking to a schizophrenic, I think she's just got some form of severe schizophrenia. It's like today she said, they keep putting me away in an institution. Her family put her in an institution. Her husband put her in an institution. Why? Because she needs to be in an institution. Hello, poodles. I mean noodles. So, yes, now once again, her manipulator in her earlier life could have got her in a bad situation, and there could have been some form of an abuse, but I don't think it was in the household. Opinion here. That may not prove to be true. So, we want to caveat it that way. So, what it looks like we have is one gigantic grift of her looking for a man to give her everything. And Noodles, don't go to Hot Springs, Arkansas. She's there. Now, if Rich Life was still doing YouTube, I would be looking for a way to hook them up. Just saying. Well, my personal thing right now, Noodles, I think we should just nuke hot springs from orbit just to be sure. Just to be safe. Just saying. I don't have anything against the poor citizens of, Hot Springs, Arkansas, but if it takes care of the Letitia infection, it might be an even trade. Or if we can sneak everyone out one night. I mean, just as I mentioned earlier, when I do my walks, I don't think of no one on YouTube. But today, all I could think about was her doxing her child and then telling where her school was because I think she seriously wants to get her kid abducted. And I wouldn't doubt if sometime she might, after doing this, she might be the abductor, in my opinion. Well, Pink, it's like I was mentioning yesterday. I've had a woman about to killing me, and I couldn't harm her. But I don't know if I could tolerate Letitia's presence. I mean, I'm 54 years old now, and I have never ran into this situation. Of I don't know if I could control myself. Usually the woman can scream in my face all they want, be an ass, and I will just stand there and listen to them. And the entire time, I will excrete more saliva in my mouth. And I will let them go on. And when it's like a giant, giant glob, then I'll spit it all over their face. And then I'll turn around and leave. But, I don't engage in that type of thing with females. And that's about as worse as it can get with me. They get spooged. One girl cried. I laughed. And her boyfriend standing there, because he knew she was being a bitch too. And he was having to act mad and trying not to laugh all at the same time. Fortunately, I slimed her entire face so she couldn't get a poor look at the poor guy, or he would have been in real, real trouble. Just saying. And then I turned around and left. But Pink, yes, that's what I think at this point. I think this is all a dupe. And I don't know if she got the abortion the first time or not, or just grifted the money. No, if you look down to it, she grifted the money. Because I think she's gotten plan B from every guy. And she spends the money. Because one of her stories one time, one of the guys took her there, bought it, and watched her take it. And she was pissed. When she recalled that story, she was mad. Because that guy was basically stealing her $50 grift. And that's what Letitia does. And now, once again, where we talk about this tape, because I'm going to make a Letitia playlist of the important lives to where we discuss this and let it evolve. So yesterday's live will be like number 1, and this one will be number 2. But it's starting to look like Letitia is making a grand fantasy. I also think on these dating sites, either one of two things. Either she has a breeder feeder fetish, or she has run into someone that has one on one of these sites and she's getting fundage for it. Now, we have found out in past that before Foodie Beauty's fame on YouTube, when she was a much smaller YouTuber, she was doing feeder fetish videos on the side for private interests. Now, all of a sudden, Letitia's... I'm trying to think of a YouTube appropriate word since I did put this under 18, but I mean, seems like she's into this whole breeding as much as you can thing. And her fantasy about having 2 babies. Now, looking at her ultrasound, as we mentioned yesterday, I believe that was completely bogus. I believe that was probably just an ultrasound from her very first pregnancy and some of the stuff that she brought back, and she was trying to push that off as the current ultrasound. She may not even be going to a doctor because we have seen on Original Alice channel, hello, let it go. Because on Original Alice channel, there was no fetal monitor. And that truly makes me think that, with all the things that we saw, there could be no baby, and that's just a food bump. Because we know she has been morbidly obese. And in the last 48 hours, she's ate like a pig, and it's like, I want this, I want that, I want the food for comfort. Well, that's what Amberlynn Reed and Foodie Beauty did that got them to be morbidly obese on YouTube. So I'm looking at my hate for a moment. And one thing that I'm wondering is, who is Sissy Lucy? I mean, I'm supposedly bullying them, and I don't know who the hell you're talking about. I think you need to talk to Carlos Martinez. Uh, Now, for a cute kitty part of our show, before we get back into Leticia, we have a Richella that has come to see us. And Richella has decided she has no more bones. Because she just flops out. Now, anybody want to spam out anything more so Miss Let It Go can let you go? And Richella's ready for her close up. What do you think, Chella? Ready for your close up? Okay, now Richella's had her close up, and now fortunately, a comfort animal could be good when you're actually doing a Leticia live. She just flops on me about a few times a day and goes to sleep, and and she's just a relaxy kitty. Now, animals can't relax around Leticia. I mean, if I was an animal around Leticia, I'd definitely have a tight butthole. Just saying. I'm at 18. I'm not at 18 plus on this live because I want new people to see it. Because if I put it at 18 plus, it won't come up in people's feeds. But I mean, I'm having to watch my language. Talking about Leticia, and can we not have the kitty butt in my face? How about look at the camera? Look at this sweet camera. Now, Leticia, I got a feeling is going to be with us because, I can't believe she's still on YouTube. Cool. My channel down. Well, you know what? I got another one with over 3,000 subscribers that's about to come back. Nah. I also got another one about this size. I also got about 6 fucking more of them. So meow, and the reality of the matter is Letitia's nothing more than a lot lizard from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Hello, Cass. We're about to talk about Leticia. The lady of the night. The gym lizard. Yes, the gym lizard. We'll miss her. But the thing is she's such a narcissist, she'll be back because remember, we're not real. She knows we're real, but we're not real. I mean, you don't get much more schizophrenic than that. But no, the thing is, though, I think she's trying to get pregnant. And behind the scenes, I think she's doing a lot of the dating. Now, one thing that I wanted to wait on, because I had a theory It's Saturday nights. It's date night. People got their checks. They're looking to party. So I have a feeling that we'll hear something from Leticia, you know, after she's getting her bath from her last John and her $50 so she can have her $15 salad. Because as the other day she said, she even threatened that if people didn't give her money, she was going to sell herself. I mean, normally, like I say, I play a lot of clips in the beginning with a new locale, but she's so vocal about it all. Excuse me. I don't really think I have to. Now, the thing for Leticia, she's going to get more grumpy. Like today, it was hot. Now, I marked 7 miles and I double timed it. I did it in about 30 minutes quicker than I normally did. I got some sun. I got hot. Well, let it go. I can't either. I mean, when you actually, if you sat down and said, Roger, what's the top 10 things you want to do? Sex really isn't on the top 10. Smoke a ball, that's in the top 10. A good pizza from Cincinnati, that would be in the top 10. But it wouldn't. But I'm sure I could come up with 8 other things first. Well, the thing is now let it go. The thing with Leticia, she's a predator of young men. Notice she's going after the young military age guys. And if you listen to her stuff, she's going after 20-sums and under. Many times, it's lost like me, I lost my virginity at 15 years old. And also, at 16 years old, I look like an adult man. I looked 26 at 16, and back then was before AIDS. And there was this thing called hippie chicks. Oh, God, hippie chicks. So, when I was a young man, there was plenty of quite attractive, thin hippie chicks to choose from that, it really wasn't hard. So, it kind of grew up with that in proportion. Hello, Michigan lady. But what Leticia does is what truthfully Trisha used to do. She goes for the guys that never had the high school sweetheart. That was 18-year-old virgins. The ones that feel that they have to validate themselves through their manhood. And then they exploit them. And, that's been old as time itself. It's just, most of the time, the woman doesn't try to use the police as their pimp to shake them down. That's the big difference. There's been stupid men throughout history, and there's been stupid, greedy women throughout history. Biblically, we have the tale of Samson and Delilah. I mean, we have our modern day Delilah, and it's called Leticia. But I'm also imagining that the biblical Delilah looked better. Excuse me, everyone. I had to drink. Well, Pink, I don't think she's smart enough to get monetized. Because, see, she has to pass a review. Now, I have found out nowadays they're only picking like 3 of your vids for the review. But pick any 3 of her. I mean, any. Randomly pick out 3 and will that pass review? Hello, Astrid. I hope you're well. Well, Astrid, this is the Elvis Travels effect. You know, there are many people that are going to give to her to make other people mad. Now, Adonis Paul showed one of her supporters today, and I looked them up, and they have a YouTube channel with under 1,000 subscribers. And that's one of the things that, some of the smaller YouTube channels will do is give money to a lolcow to engender hate to up their own subscriber counts. That's been a thing in the void. And that's what's going on here. And there's going to be a parade of them. And they're going to give her money. And they're going to enable her. Well, let it go. From all of my spying, I wanted to know exactly what Rich Life was actually getting. And as my ex-girlfriend spied upon him, he was getting $600 to $1,200 a month off of a 3,600 to 4,200 subscriber channel. And that's how much he was making a month off of YouTube, between everything. And I got to hear all about Lisa and buying the beer, too. Well, Astrid, this is where we get the 3 ego states. Now, that one that's the nya 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 child, it is an introvert. The other 2 are not. The core ego state is a trap. And the other one is the lying manipulator that tries her to get everything. Now, you see, I have an ego state to get me things. He is the devil. And he's social. He's a businessman. It's like if I'd need something, it would be Astrid. I need X. Is there anything that you could do to help me get X if maybe I help you do Y? He's a trader. That ego state in me trades back and forth and gets me what I need. Excuse me. He's also got my work ethic. And he's very social. Now, if we just chat about day-to-day stuff, that's the part of me that's going to come out. Now, Leticia, though, her entire life has been about manipulation. And it's going to continue to be. It's like the puppies. She actually expects to be praised for that. She actually thought that people are going to say, oh dear, you did the right thing. Because, see, a psychopath doesn't understand they did anything wrong. It all affects on what they get out of it. And what she wanted out of it, she wanted her dog back in heat so she could get another litter, so she could sell it, so she could buy more shit. And the bright point why I personally like her in her car, as soon as she gets a home, as soon as she gets a stable anything, the first thing she's going to do is start the puppy mill up again, dudes. And I mean it for the girls too. I mean, let's look in reality land here. An animal will do what's in its animal's nature. And Leticia is an animal too. This is her way of doing things. And then she'll start stealing dogs again. So, this is why every day that Leticia is in her car, it's a win. And it's also why that we wouldn't mind seeing Leticia going straight from the car into the mental institution, where then she needs put on drugs, and then she needs to be declared incompetent and be given a court-appointed guardian. Well, let it go. I mean, Rich Life didn't do any form of a cybercrime worse than Letitia. And he's getting all lawed up. In fact, he's done 1/50th of what Letitia has done cybercrime wise, and Rich Life is dead guilty of his cybercrime, by the way. Not going to minimize that, but just using that as a comparison. And in the 25th, Rich Life goes to court. So we're waiting on that. I'm not sure what day it is. I try not to look because it's like Christmas for me. Yeah, in 11 days, Rich Life goes and gets all lawed up for cyber crimes. And someone needs a long talk with a prosecutor in the proper jurisdiction. Yes, they do. And at some point, a very articulate man might just do it and step in when he thinks it really, really needs to be done. Well, yeah, Michigan lady, there's always going to be someone worse. That was kind of the lesson for me between Elvis and Rich Life. The lolcows only get worse. It's kind of like the climax of a movie. Now, I didn't know. Now, before COVID, she could not have got away with this. There were humans regularly involved in YouTube, and her ass would have been whoosh, yeeted real quick. But because everything's just bots now, everyone watching Rich Life learned because 3/4 of his words were profanity. Well, I've not, because I'm not giving her docs credence. Now, fortunately, because all of her watchers are hate watchers, I'm like, because I know, like Amberlyn Reed, no one ever showed up at her house. We all knew where she was. I could have walked there. No one ever showed up at her house. So I knew when she was doing this, the likelihood of it causing harm is slim to none until she gave out her daughter's private information, her social security number, and the school she's at and her age. Now, that, on the other hand, I have to censor myself now. Because, once again, we have terms of service. I have to take a breath or two before I start again because, they say Letitia's triggering and I couldn't be in her presence, put it that way. And the funny thing is, I have 2 spare bedrooms here. And my only issue is I don't have transportation. But I don't want to ever be in the same state as Letitia. Now, what she doesn't understand, if she was human, she would get more. But, the fact of the matter is, she's a narcissistic psychopath and schizophrenic. Now, on meds, there may be a different Letitia. But the only people that can tell us that are her husband and her family. So we don't know what her baseline is on a medication. Well, Blake's, yeah, I mean, Rich never set a crib on fire. That's what got her put in the nut house, by the way, everyone. I've been basically writing my fact book on Letitia like I do Amberlyn Reed or any of the others. And yes, that was what got her with a husband when the husband put her in. That's what got her. Yes, the day she tried to burn her baby's crib. And I'm fine with that, and she needs to be back. Hello, Booker. Well, let it go. I mean, Amberlyn Reed's up the road, eating everything. Now, if this was a long live, I'd digress into the story of when I could find no ham in an entire city. And I think Amber was to blame, but, we won't get into that. Well, she's mobile. When she goes gets her weed, she'll have a big grift after that. And that's what she's doing now. Because Leticia can't get things another way. She's got to get them legally at a dispensary where I get better weed a lot cheaper, not going to a dispensary. Just saying. Hello, Mandy. Now, she's going to be with us a while. Hello, Bubba. Because she's not going away. She's got that sense of attention. She actually thinks that her story hurts us. And this is one of the things that, she basically does not understand. She thinks, once again, being a narcissist, she actually it's like Rich Life. I'll leave YouTube. Have you seen anyone other than CJ Real Stream News lamenting that Rich Life of Road Trips is not on YouTube? Nope. Oh, Blake, she's worse than Rich Life. The locale arc, they keep getting worse. I mean, Rich didn't set the baby's crib on fire. They might have had to made him pay $50 a month. He might bitch about it. But, he doesn't threaten to go all Silence of the Lambs on his own child. Trying to keep ourselves within terms of service. Well, Astrid, I talked to Cruiser McHenry today because he's schizophrenic on medication. And I'm trying to figure out her exact dysfunction. So I asked him, and he said what little he has seen of her, in his opinion, she fully lines up. So she may not even know what reality is on some days. On many days she does, obviously. We all can tell that. But there's going to be times to where she will, like when she talks about the people in the devices, that's the schizophrenia. She really believes that. Well, yeah, let it go. When I moved down here, I was only going to sleep with Miss Wright. I kept it in my pants unless I considered that, I wanted to marry. And if it wasn't marriage involved, I wasn't interested. Now, after Karen, I'm no longer interested in marriage. Well, that's what I mean, Mandy. That's why we're having this live. If she hadn't done that, we wouldn't be here right now. I'd be, kicking back, smoking a bowl, watching other people do YouTube. But, this woman needs to be called out, and I need to put some of my insight into it. Because, when it comes down to it, I'm an excellent resource for a lolcow. Other people will show you the video clips, and in here we will get into the adepts where, when, whys, hows, and ifs, and where it all might go. And she's not going to harm herself. Say first, because she is a narcissist. She believes in herself more than she believes God. God is just a tool to use people to get what she wants. Oh, yes, Mandy, she says it's for her daughter. I have a channel for the kitty cats. I don't really advertise it here. Because it's basically just, a clip channel for me, my kitty videos, and for people that really like me and my animals to watch. Oh, yeah, Astrid. I mean, all of it. You are right. Full date of birth, even time of birth. I'm not going to cite it, but I remember it. And I mean, her own child. She literally is trying to get her own child harmed. Oh, yes, Astrid. And someone might. Someone might on that. And now they'll. And that's what she wanted. Now, just between us, she'll be out there selling that identity. She will, just saying. No doubt in my mind. She will be out there selling her daughter's identity. And I'm not even going to say in my opinion on that one. Hello, Flatline. Yes, Flatline. Yeah, that's why we're here. I mean, the Roger is pissed. As I mentioned earlier, I made my walk earlier, and I never think about YouTube stuff and people while I'm doing my walk. But today, all I could think of was that and be pissed. And that was a first. Because as I mentioned, I don't take YouTube stuff out the door with me. And Mandy, that's it. Well, you see, she's still grifting. And we don't even know if she's pregnant. Now, if she's not pregnant, she's trying to get pregnant as fast as she can. Because, that stomach's awful soft. When she buys that big thing of beans, refried beans, that's the family pack. That's over 2,400 calories. From doing Amberlyn Reed coverage on a bigger channel at another time, I can do all those breakdowns too. She has been eating in excess of 3,000 calories a day that we see every day for an extended period of time. And putting something else on the table, that is enough to cover her entire weight gain. What she has been putting down. Well, let it go. Now, see, why she eats that's what makes her baby bump. Because then all of that swells. And what she is right now, we put her on the table the last time, she had an eating disorder. And last night, she ate like a pig. I want more. I want more. I want it for comfort. I'm not hungry. That's Amberlyn Reed talk. That's foodie beauty talk. So not only are we going to get a schizophrenic, dog-murdering lolcow, we're also going to get a morbidly obese one on top of it. Yes, country lady. And that is why the bump changes. And I noticed that heavily too today. And I'm going to go through, probably we can put like 5 pictures, I think, on a community post. So I'll probably do that. Do a succession of 5. And we can watch the evolution of the bump. And I'm sure Al will also have something like that because, I've known Al for years. She's damn good, by the way. She's like a YouTube OG that basically stepped back and hasn't done much in forever. But yes, original Al for, those people that are newer to her. She is an older YouTuber. We would call her OG. And she's damn good at what she does. And Leticia does not understand the can of worms that she hath opened up. But at some point, it will all become evident to her. Now, well, Astrid, that's what she's trying to do. This is a part of the grift because this way she can keep claiming pregnancy and she can also keep sleeping with men. Now, earlier on the table, obviously, she is either got a feeder fetish person or she has one. And I'm betting that she has found her a nice feeder fetish person on one of those dating sites that also has a breeder fetish. And I guarantee that he's funding a lot of that. So, this is Letitia. This is Letitia's story. This is Letitia's life. Remember, she threatened self harm before she would get a job. If I could have transportation back and forth and the government would let me, I'd much rather have some form of a job rather than on my crap hole disability. Then I get a whole $840 a month and I starve. But the reason why also Letitia gets the $50 in food stamps, they take $50 out of her check for child support. Because you see, I don't qualify for food stamps. And I know from Rick's life of road trips, him being on disability of the same as mine, they take $50 out of his check for child support. So because they take that 50 out of Letitia's check, that gets her the 50 in food stamps. And that's why she qualifies for them than I don't. Oh yes, she did let it go, and calling any baby demonic definitely shows me as a juror that she is absolutely positively out of her mind and could not be trusted with her child. So I, as a juror or a judge, would be more than willing to strip her rights away with her crying in front of me, going booey, hooey, wooey, whatever. Well, Monica, talking to Cruiser today, it's looking that that's the way it is. Now, once again, schizophrenics always don't see reality, but a lot of times they do. Now, I believe Letitia knows exactly what she's doing. But when Letitia talks about the devices and they're spying on us, that is schizophrenia talk. Well, I've not seen her flatline. But, Letitia's definitely out there. But, I mean, once again, I'm trying to edit myself. I'm just trying to imagine, you know, I've got my beautiful wife there, and we're sitting there, and she tries to set the crib on fire. Now, once again, Letitia went to the mental institution for that. And I think that was pretty kind. Because I don't know what I would have done. I mean, it wouldn't have been a normal Roger like reaction. Because if someone around me does something horribly evil and inciting, that tends to set me off and hit my evil button. Oh, yes, she admitted. I mean, now the reason why she did it, she wanted him and the baby out of her house, and she wanted to burn herself alive in the house with everything. And that got her put in the nut house, where she belonged. And evidently, she was put on medications that she didn't stay on. And once again, I'm interested in what does medicated Letitia look like? Because, I mean, after she was tried to set the crib on fire, I probably would have stuffed her in the crib. Just saying. And then I would have took the kid and got the hell out of there. Just saying. To another state. And never, ever, ever, never be heard from again. Well, country lady, I mean, she's evil. Yep, yep, yep. Now, she's watching, and now this too, I've come to the conclusion, listening to her, she's watching everything about her. So remember that. Now, it's like this live, she'll watch it, and that's what I think she does. You know, when she's not videoing, I think she's literally watching everything there is about her. Now, we're getting towards the end here because I'm going to run these lives for an hour because I want them to be replayable. Now, I might come back later after midnight or so if I'm still up and have, just a screw around live where we talk about dumbass crap and I put it at 18 plus and I make silly jokes and talk bad about people that talk bad about me. Well, Rachel, I think that's a high possibility. Well, yes, country lady, and in all these chats you can too. You'll be able to see her. Matter of fact, she'll probably be shooting here in a little bit. Now, see, one of the things that I had been talking about was her lack of gratitude in my last two outings on talking about her. That she could never be happy. And now, today she's thankful for her blessings. Yeah, right. Now you see, doing Amberlyn Reed coverage, see, I am damn good at breaking things down. Many larger YouTubers will bring me mysteries that I will solve for them because I find that kind of things entertaining. A puzzle. What's the truth? Now, as I mentioned later tonight, I'll probably come back on and we will talk about me. That's what I do. I think I know what I'll do for a lot later tonight. And it'll be something completely different that may or may not be interesting to anyone. But I think I'm going to talk about my dark side. Yes, because thinking about it with Leticia, I think that's what my next live that's about Leticia I'm going to talk about. It's human dark sides. And I think after midnight tonight, I'll come back on for about an hour and I will talk about my dark side. And I'll probably do that in like 3 installments during lives. And I hope it will be entertaining for people. And I'll be overly honest, which some people may like and some people may not. I noticed that Let It Go. But that's also why I believe her plan is to get pregnant one way or the other if she is or not. Well, Ronnie, we're going to get out of here in just a minute. I'm keeping these lives in an hour. But this live, after it's over, will be back up in less than 2 minutes. So it takes about that long. Astrid, I see your phone's like mine. It keeps changing the words. Oh. Now, take care, Flatline. But, like I say, I'll talk about my dark side later on today because, it's getting warmer out. And to be honest, I've kind of felt like an ass lately. Yes, Let It Go. Days ago, I made 2 pounds of chili in the slow cooker. And I've had chili spaghetti every day for 3 days. And before I made my walk, I had a big dinner. And then I walked and got 4 gallons of fresh water. And I'm a little tired, my feet hurt, and I'm going to kick back and... Oh, yeah, I know, Esther. It's all Apple's fault. I mean, when anyone mistypes now, I don't think it's them. I know it's Apple. Because Apple doesn't know English. And neither does Leticia. So I'm going to get off here now, and you may see me after midnight. And in another day or two, I will have another Leticia live, and we will talk about Leticia and her dark side. I'll probably have to make that one a 2 hour on rather than an hour. So everyone, have a good night.